The Galactic Council chambers buzzed with the usual pretentious chatter of 1,000 different species, each convinced they were the pinnacle of evolution. Ambassador Zextra adjusted her crystalline appendages, her violet eyes scanning the room with practiced disdain. Today was supposed to be just another routine session where they discuss trade routes and pretend to care about minor planetary disputes. Order! Order! Bellowed Supreme Chancellor Varkton, his massive frame casting shadows across the marble floor. The rhinoceros-like being's voice carried the weight of authority that had kept peace across 17 galaxies for over 3 millennia. We gather today to address a most peculiar situation regarding the primitive world known as Earth. Laughter rippled through the chamber like a sonic wave. Earth, that backwater mudball, inhabited by those hairless apes who barely discovered fire yesterday? What is worth discussing about such an insignificant speck of cosmic dust? Ambassador Kael'nix of the Serpentine Empire slithered forward, his scales glistening under the artificial suns that lit the chamber. Surely you jest, Chancellor. Those humans haven't even mastered interstellar travel. They're still fighting over colored pieces of fabric they call flags. More laughter erupted. Ambassador Zextra found herself smiling despite her usual composure. Humans were indeed amusing creatures. They'd been monitoring Earth for centuries, occasionally abducting a few specimens for study, leaving behind crop circles as jokes, and generally treating the planet like their personal nature preserve. Silence! Varkton's voice cracked like thunder. Intelligence reports from our monitoring stations have revealed something disturbing. The chamber fell quiet. Disturbing? What could be disturbing about a species that hadn't even figured out how to stop destroying its atmosphere? Chief Intelligence Officer Rathmo stepped forward, his forearms carrying data tablets that flickered with holographic displays. The gray-skinned being's expression was grim, which was particularly unsettling since his species was incapable of showing emotion without severe mental distress. Esteemed council members, Rathmo began, his voice trembling slightly, what I'm about to show you will challenge everything we thought we knew about human civilization. The first hologram materialized above the council floor. It showed Earth's solar system, but something was wrong. Very wrong. This is a real-time scan of the Terran system taken just 48 hours ago. Rathmo continued. Notice anything unusual? Ambassador Jixera of the Feline Confederacy leaned forward, her whiskers twitching with curiosity. Her golden eyes widened as she studied the display. Those aren't natural celestial bodies orbiting their star. Correct, Rathmo confirmed, his voice growing colder. Those are weapons platforms. 17,000 of them, to be precise. Each one is capable of outputting more destructive force than our entire battle fleet combined. The chamber erupted in chaos. Voices in 100 different languages screamed questions, accusations, and demand for explanations. This had to be some kind of mistake. Humans couldn't possibly possess technology that advanced. They were barely capable of getting a few of their kind to their moon, without half of them dying in the process. There's more, Rathmo announced, raising his voice above the pandemonium. The second hologram showed what appeared to be space, just the usual cosmic background radiation and distant stars. I don't see anything, growled General Thaxcor of the Warhounds, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused on the display. Exactly, Rathmo replied with a grim smile. This is a scan of the space between Earth and Mars. According to our instruments, it's empty. But watch what happens when we apply quantum phase filters. The image shimmered, and suddenly the empty space was filled with thousands of sleek, angular ships. They were unlike anything in the galactic database, their hulls seeming to bend light around them in impossible ways. Cloaking technology, whispered Ambassador Yildane of the Tech Syndicate, her cybernetic implants sparking with excitement and fear. But this level of sophistication, it's beyond even our most advanced designs. The ships appear to be using some form of quantum camouflage that operates on 17 different dimensional frequencies simultaneously, Rathmo explained. Our scientists estimate it would take us approximately 4,000 years to develop similar technology. Supreme Chancellor Varkton's massive hands gripped the edges of his podium so tightly that the marble began to crack. How long have these fleets been there? Based on quantum decay patterns in the surrounding space-time fabric, we estimate at least 800 Earth years, possibly longer. The silence that followed was deafening. 800 years? That meant humans had possessed advanced interstellar technology since before they'd supposedly invented the printing press. While the Galactic Council had been laughing at their primitive radio signals and chemical rockets, the humans had been building a secret armada that could wipe out most of known civilization. Ambassador Zextera felt her crystalline form vibrating with barely contained rage. Are you telling this council that we've been made fools of for nearly a millennium? I'm afraid it gets worse, Rathmole said, activating another hologram. This one showed a familiar sight. One of the council's monitoring stations, a massive construction orbiting Earth's moon. Except now, they could see it wasn't alone. Sleek human vessels surrounded it like sharks circling prey. Every monitoring station, every observation post, every secret facility we've established in the Terran system has been under human surveillance for centuries. They know everything about us. Our technology, our military capabilities, our political structures, our weaknesses. General Thaxcor rose to his feet, his cybernetic limbs whirring with hydraulic fury. This is an act of war. We should mobilize the entire fleet and show these primitive apes what happens when you deceive the Galactic Council. With what fleet? Rathmole asked quietly. The question hung in the air like a poison gas. With what fleet, indeed? Show them, Chancellor Varkton commanded, his voice barely above a whisper. The final hologram was the most shocking of all. It showed the Galactic Council's mighty armada, the combined military might of 1,000 worlds, the pride of 17 galaxies. But now they could see the truth. Every single ship, from the mightiest dreadnought to the smallest scout vessel, was being shadowed by human craft. Not just shadowed, surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned. Current tactical analysis indicates that human forces outnumber our entire military by a ratio of approximately 15-1, Rathmole reported. And that's only counting the ships we can detect with our most advanced scanning equipment. Ambassador Kaelnix's serpentine form coiled with nervous energy. But their technology, we've studied their broadcasts, their primitive internet communications. They argue about flat earth theories and whether vaccines cause autism. How could such a species? Decoys? Interrupted Dr. Mirachun, and every head in the chamber turned toward the speaker. She stood at the back of the room, a woman of average height with dark hair and unremarkable features. Perfectly, carefully unremarkable. I beg your pardon? Chancellor Varkton asked, his voice carrying dangerous undertones. How did a human get into this chamber? Dr. Chen smiled, and something about that expression made several council members unconsciously step backward. Oh, I've been here for years, Chancellor. Sitting right there in Section 47, pretending to be Ambassador Kilthorax of the Mineral Worlds. Nice species, by the way. Excellent miners. Terrible at military strategy. The real Ambassador Kilthorax, a crystalline being who had indeed been missing from his usual seat, was nowhere to be seen. You see, Dr. Chen continued, walking casually down the steps toward the central floor, everything you've observed about humanity has been carefully crafted theater. The flat earth theories, deliberate misinformation campaigns to make us appear scientifically illiterate. The social media arguments, psychological warfare testing, to study your responses, to perceive human irrationality. Even our apparent environmental destruction of Earth was mostly special effects and atmospheric manipulation to maintain the illusion of a primitive species. She reached the center of the chamber and turned slowly, making eye contact with representatives from dozens of different worlds. We've been playing a very long game, and you've all been delightful test subjects. Ambassador Zextera's crystalline form flashed with violent colors. Test subjects? You dare. Oh, I dare quite a lot, actually. Dr. Chen interrupted with a laugh that somehow managed to be both musical and terrifying. For instance, I dare to inform you that every single person in this chamber has been exposed to a harmless but highly effective nanobiological agent over the past 3 years. It's been in your food, your water, even the air you breathe. Panic began to set in. Representatives started checking their scanners, calling for medical assistance, and demanding immediate evacuation. But Dr. Chen just stood there, smiling patiently. "Relax," she said. "It's completely harmless. It's been improving your health in subtle ways, extending lifespans, preventing diseases, and optimizing neural function. Think of it as a gift." "What do you want?" Chancellor Varkton demanded. "Want?" Dr. Chen appeared to consider the question. "That's interesting. What do we want?" "Peace, prosperity, and the advancement of all sentient life throughout the galaxy. Pretty much what you claim to want. The difference is we're good at achieving our goals." She gestured to the hologram still floating above them. "This demonstration wasn't meant to threaten you. It was meant to educate you. Humanity is ready to take its place in galactic civilization, but not as your junior partners or protectorates. We're offering you the chance to join us as equals." "Equals?" General Fax Corps snarled. "We are the Galactic Council. We've maintained peace and order for 3,000 years. Yes, I know. And in that time, how many wars have there been? How many species have gone extinct due to preventable conflicts? How many worlds have been lost to diseases that could have been cured, disasters that could have been prevented?" The general fell silent. The numbers weren't flattering. "Humanity has been quietly solving those problems," Dr. Chen continued. "The Rigelian plague that wiped out 90% of their population, we developed a cure and delivered it through seemingly natural evolutionary adaptation. The asteroid that was going to destroy the Centauri colonies, we nudged it into a safe orbit using gravitational manipulation you never detected. The civil war on Kepler, 442b that threatened to tear the planet apart, we provided anonymous intelligence to both sides that led to a peaceful resolution." Ambassador Yildana of the Tech Syndicate leaned forward, her cybernetic brain processing the implications. "You've been helping us? Without taking credit?" "Taking credit would have blown our cover," Dr. Chen explained. "We needed you to continue seeing us as primitive while we studied your species, your cultures, your strengths and weaknesses. Not to exploit them, but to understand how we could work together most effectively." "And the weapons?" Ambassador Jixera asked, her feline features showing a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Defensive," Dr. Chen replied immediately. "We learned early in our observations that the galaxy contained some very unfriendly neighbors. The Void Hunters, for instance. They've been probing the edge of our local galactic cluster for decades, looking for signs of advanced civilization to consume. Our weapon platforms aren't aimed at you. They're aimed at the dark space beyond, ready to defend all of us when the real threat arrives." This was news to everyone in the chamber. The Void Hunters were legendary bogeymen, stories told to frighten young cadets at military academies. Ancient horrors from between galaxies that supposedly devoured entire civilizations before moving on to the next course. "You're saying they're real?" Chancellor Varkton asked. "Oh, they're very real," Dr. Chen confirmed. "And they're coming. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected their scout fleets approximately 200 light years away and closing. We estimate first contact in 18 months. The chamber erupted again, but this time it was different. This time it was a sound of genuine fear. Dr. Chen raised her hand, and somehow, impossibly, the entire chamber fell silent. This is why humanity is revealing itself now. We need to work together, all of us, if we're going to survive what's coming. The Void Hunters don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners, and they don't leave survivors. They're everything you feared about the dark spaces between stars made manifest. What do you propose?" Chancellor Varkton asked quietly. "Integration," Dr. Chen replied. "Not conquest, not subjugation, but true partnership. Human technology combined with galactic experience and resources. Your knowledge of different species and cultures combined with our, let's call them unconventional problem-solving methods." She gestured, and a new hologram appeared. This one showed a massive space station, larger than anything in the galactic database. Its design incorporating elements from dozens of different architectural traditions. This is Haven Station, currently under construction in a pocket dimension adjacent to the galactic core. It's designed to serve as a refugee center and command post during the coming conflict. Every species in the galaxy will have representation there, and every species will contribute to our common defense. Ambassador Zexteraz's crystalline form had shifted to deep blues and purples, colors indicating deep thought and calculation. The technology required to construct a pocket dimension, it's theoretically possible, but the energy requirements alone are well within our capabilities, Dr. Chen finished. We've been harnessing dark energy for the past 4 centuries. It turns out your universe has quite a lot of it just lying around unused. General Fact Score's cybernetic systems were working overtime, running tactical calculations. Even with all this advanced technology, you're talking about fighting an enemy that had consumed entire galaxies. The odds. They are better than you think, Dr. Chen interrupted. You see, the Void Hunters have one critical weakness. They've never encountered a species quite like humanity before. What makes humans so special? Ambassador Kale Nix asked, his serpentine form coiled with skepticism. Dr. Chen's smile became genuinely warm for the first time since she'd revealed herself. We're sneaky, we're stubborn, and we refuse to give up. More importantly, we spent the last 800 years studying every single species in this galaxy, learning your strengths, understanding your capabilities, and figuring out how to bring out the best in all of you. She turned to address the entire chamber. The Void Hunters expect to find scattered, primitive civilizations that will crumble at the first sign of resistance. Instead, they're going to find a united galaxy that's been preparing for their arrival for centuries. They're going to find species working together in ways they never thought possible. They're going to find weapons and tactics they've never encountered before. And if we refuse, Ambassador Jixera asked quietly, then you'll face the Void Hunters alone, Dr. Chen replied simply. And you'll lose. And humanity will mourn your passing while we continue preparing for the inevitable second wave. The chamber fell silent again. The choice was clear, even if it wasn't easy. Chancellor Varkton straightened to his full impressive height. You've given us much to consider, Dr. Chen. But I have one question. How we know we can trust you? You've been lying to us for 8 centuries. Dr. Chen's expression became serious. Because, Chancellor, in all that time, with all our capabilities, we never once used our advantages to harm you. We could have conquered this galaxy a dozen times over. We could have enslaved every species, harvested every resource, imposed our will on every world. Instead, we chose to help quietly, to guide gently, to prepare carefully. She gestured to the weapon platform hologram, still floating above them. Every one of those installations has been operational for centuries. We could have used them to demand your surrender at any time. Instead, we used them to protect you from threats you didn't even know existed, such as General Fax Corps demanded the Crystalline Collective's invasion fleet that would have reached the Outer Rim territories 7 years ago, the dark matter entities that tried to consume the Rigel system 4 years ago, the time-displaced precursor weapon that nearly tore a hole in reality itself 18 months ago. Shall I continue? The representatives looked at each other with growing understanding. How many disasters have been quietly averted? How many threats have been neutralized without their knowledge? There's something else, Dr. Chen continued. Something I haven't mentioned yet. The reason we're so confident about facing the Void Hunters. She gestured again, and the chamber's holographic displays changed to show something extraordinary. Humans working alongside members of every galactic species. But these weren't the normal diplomatic exchanges or trade negotiations they were used to seeing. These humans and aliens were working together with a level of coordination and efficiency that seemed almost supernatural. We're not just allies with your species, Dr. Chen explained. We're family. Over the past 800 years, humans have formed deep personal relationships with representatives from every world in the galaxy. Marriages, partnerships, and friendships that transcend species boundaries. My daughter is half Andromedan, and she's currently serving as a diplomatic liaison with the Centauri colonies. Ambassador Yildana's cybernetic systems sparked with excitement. Hybrid offspring? But the biological incompatibilities. They were solved by human medical technology centuries ago, Dr. Chen said with obvious pride. We've been quietly facilitating interspecies relationships and hybrid children throughout the galaxy. There are currently over 40 million human-alien hybrids living on various worlds, most of them in positions of influence and responsibility. The implications were staggering. 40 million individuals with loyalties to both humanity and their alien heritage. 40 million bridges between species. 40 million reasons for cooperation instead of conflict. My gods, whispered Ambassador Zextera. You haven't just been studying us. You've been integrating with us. Love, Dr. Chen said simply, is the most powerful force in the universe. It's stronger than fear, more enduring than hatred, more effective than any weapon ever devised. The Void Hunters understand conquest and consumption. They don't understand family. Chancellor Varkton was quiet for a long moment, his massive form seeming to shrink as he processed the magnitude of what he'd learned. Finally, he spoke. Dr. Chen, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally acknowledge humanity's membership in galactic civilization, not as junior partners, but as the species we apparently should have been listening to all along. The chamber erupted in applause, but Dr. Chen raised her hand again. There's one more thing, she said. A personal message from humanity to all of you. The holographic displays changed one final time, showing images from Earth, but not the primitive, war-torn world they thought they knew. Instead, they saw gleaming cities floating among the clouds, vast gardens that stretched across continents, oceans teeming with life both natural and artificial. They saw humans and aliens working together, playing together, living together in harmony. Welcome to the real Earth, Dr. Chen said softly. Welcome home. As the session concluded and representatives began filing out of the chamber, each carrying data packets with detailed information about humanity's proposals for galactic defense, one question lingered in everyone's mind. If humans had been capable of this level of deception and preparation for centuries, what else were they capable of? The answer, as they would soon discover, was anything they set their minds to. And for the first time in galactic history, that was exactly what everyone needed. The Void Hunters were coming, but they were about to learn what happened when you threaten a family that spanned the stars themselves. They were about to discover that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their ships or their hidden installations. They could make everyone else believe in themselves. And in 18 months, when the first Void Hunter scouts entered the galaxy expecting to find scattered, primitive civilizations ripe for harvest, they would instead find something unprecedented in their long history of consumption, a universe that was ready to fight back. The day the Galactic Council realized Earth had been playing well was the day the galaxy finally learned what it meant to have hope.